Stop underestimating the silent power that walks ahead of your every achievement, your personality. If you wish to gain influence, attract wealth, command respect, and draw opportunity, you must understand this. It is not talent alone, nor intellect, nor even unrelenting hard work that opens all the doors of life. It is your ability to shape and project a pleasing personality. This is not some hollow advice for socialites or smooth talkers. It is the cornerstone of real, enduring power. Study the stories of those who have risen from humble beginnings to legendary status, and you will find a pattern. People followed them, bought from them, promoted them, believed in them, not just because of what they did, but because of who they were, how they made others feel, how they showed up in every room. Consider the impact of your presence. The world is a mirror. What you project comes back to you multiplied. Every time you enter a conversation, a meeting, or a negotiation, you are selling one product above all, yourself. A pleasing personality does not mean pandering or bending to every whim. It means bringing forth the best in yourself so you can bring out the best in others. It means courtesy in speech, confidence in bearing, enthusiasm in your work, and a genuine interest in the welfare and success of those around you. People are instinctively drawn to those who elevate them, who radiate positivity and command attention through authentic warmth and conviction. Strip away every excuse you've given yourself for being misunderstood or overlooked. If you want your life to change, change the way you carry yourself. Start by becoming intensely interested in people, not for manipulation, but for true connection. Listen more than you speak, and when you speak, make your words lift others, not weigh them down. The secret of influence lies in your willingness to understand before being understood, to encourage before seeking encouragement, to recognize merit in others and call it forth. This is not mere etiquette. It is a law of nature. Those who help others to rise will themselves rise higher than they ever could alone. A pleasing personality is a fusion of qualities: sincerity, optimism, self-control, courtesy, empathy, and unwavering faith in your purpose. It is a deliberate practice, not an accident. You must train your mind to focus on the positive even when surrounded by mediocrity or cynicism. You must learn to greet each day and every person with gratitude and expectation. Your inner attitude will bleed into your outer actions. Your beliefs become habits, and your habits create the magnetism that sets you apart from the crowd. If you wish to lead, you must first serve. True leadership is never about barking orders or flexing authority. It is about making others feel important, respected, and capable. The pleasing personality never forgets that every human soul harbors the need for appreciation. If you can satisfy that need authentically, you will never lack for friends, supporters, or opportunities. Take notice. The most persuasive people do not shout, they listen. They win trust by their steadiness, their discretion, their ability to make others feel seen and heard. If you want to move mountains, begin by moving hearts. Now, consider this. Every act of success is rooted in relationship. Every great fortune was built not by solitary effort, but by a network of allies, partners, customers, and mentors. And what forms these networks? It is not just business acumen or technical skill, but the ability to win goodwill, to inspire loyalty, to be remembered and recommended when opportunity comes calling. This is the silent leverage that multiplies your efforts 100-fold. If you cultivate a pleasing personality, you will never have to chase opportunity. It will seek you out, carried by the very people you have lifted along the way. Never confuse flattery with genuine praise. Flattery is cheap and transparent. It seeks advantage, not connection. Real praise springs from a recognition of merit and is given freely without expectation. If you make it a habit to notice what is good, strong, and admirable in others, and to speak it, you will build relationships of trust and mutual respect. People hunger for recognition. When you satisfy this hunger, you gain an invisible influence that money cannot buy. It is the bedrock of every lasting partnership, every productive collaboration, every loyal team. Your physical presence speaks before you utter a word. Walk with purpose. Stand tall. Look people in the eye. Dress in a way that shows respect for yourself and for those around you. Let your handshake be firm and your manner open. These are the subtle signals of self-respect and confidence. They set the tone for every interaction. The pleasing personality never leaves these things to chance. Every detail matters, for the world is always watching, always judging, always deciding, consciously or unconsciously, whether to open the door to you or close it. Do not allow yourself to become a prisoner of your moods. Emotional volatility weakens your influence and erodes trust. The person who can keep their composure under pressure, who remains calm in the face of provocation, who can absorb criticism without defensiveness and praise without arrogance, such a person is rare, and their rarity makes them valuable. Discipline your emotions as fiercely as you discipline your mind. Let your spirit be unshakable, your optimism infectious. These are the qualities that inspire others to follow your lead. No matter your circumstances, you have the power to develop a personality that pleases, inspires, and persuades. It begins with a decision to see the good in yourself and others, to speak with intention, to act with grace, to move through the world with purpose. These are not superficial gestures. They are the marks of mastery in the game of life. The world rewards those who make others feel better about themselves. It remembers those who leave every place and every person richer for having met them. If you wish to grow in influence and achievement, make it your business to leave a trail of goodwill behind you wherever you go. Build bridges, not walls. Speak of possibilities, not limitations. Encourage dreams, do not dismiss them. Every day offers 1,000 opportunities to practice. Begin with the smallest interactions, the clerk at the store, the neighbor on the street, the colleague in the hallway. Let every encounter be a rehearsal for greatness. Refuse to let setbacks sour your spirit. People will test you. Circumstances will challenge you. Critics will misjudge you. Respond not with bitterness, but with poise. Let your resilience be your signature. The pleasing personality is not a mask you put on to impress the world. It is the armor that protects your dreams and propels you forward. It is the silent salesman that wins battles you never even see. If you master this art, you will discover that even in a world of competition, you have created your own blue ocean, a place where opportunity is abundant and success is inevitable. As you continue this journey, remember, every great success story is built on the foundation of a pleasing personality. It is the soil from which every victory grows, the magnet that attracts resources, allies, and fortune. Begin today. Decide to become the kind of person others are eager to know, work with, and support. Cultivate your personality as diligently as you would any other asset. The rewards will astonish you. When you shape your character, you shape your destiny. When you become pleasing to yourself and others, you unlock the door to a future beyond your wildest imagining, and that, my friend, is the true secret of success. If you truly desire advancement, socially, financially, spiritually, you must rid yourself of a destructive illusion. That success is a solitary conquest. It never is. It is always a collective approval. You rise because others lift you, support you, believe in you, invest in you, and speak positively about you when you are absent. And why would they do that? Because of how you make them feel. Your personality, not your resume, writes the first and most lasting impression in their minds. Wealth flows where it is welcomed, and influence follows the one who has mastered the art of linking hearts with purpose. A pleasing personality is earned. It is crafted through self-awareness. It demands that you take inventory of your behavior, your tone, your expression, your presence, and your responses. You cannot control what the world does to you, but you can control how you show up. That power alone can change the direction of your entire life. Examine your habits. Do you radiate encouragement, or do you drain the atmosphere around you? Do you walk with certainty, or do you enter a room apologizing for your existence? Do your words uplift or diminish? Every choice leaves a footprint in the minds of others. A person with a pleasing personality never begs for attention. They command it through their manner. They do not interrupt. They influence. They do not dominate. They guide. They do not insist. They persuade. Strength combined with charm is irresistible. Many lose opportunities because they lead with ego instead of ease. Push instead of attract. Talk instead of listen. But the wise understand this. The human heart responds more quickly to warmth than to force. Persuasion is a higher skill than pressure. Influence is a more powerful strategy than intimidation. One of the greatest components of a pleasing personality is enthusiasm, controlled, directed enthusiasm. When you speak with excitement about your purpose, when your energy proves your belief, people instinctively want to follow. Enthusiasm is a contagious fire. It spreads without effort. You cannot fake it, for the heart recognizes authenticity. A person who is truly enthusiastic about their work is a lighthouse in a dark world. They draw others to them because people crave passion. They want to believe in something. They want to be near someone who is alive, driven, and forward-moving. When your enthusiasm burns bright, doors open faster than you can knock. Master your communication. Speak clearly. Speak confidently. Speak with intention. Words are the carriers of thought, and people cannot believe in you if your message is tangled, timid, or scattered. A pleasing personality uses language as a sculptor uses tools, carefully, purposefully, shaping impressions that endure. Every conversation is an opportunity to display leadership. Train yourself to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. There is nothing attractive about uncontrolled emotions or careless speech. Restraint, patience, and clarity, these are marks of maturity, and they impress even the hardened skeptic. A pleasing personality is not blind positivity, it is defined optimism. It sees the good even when surrounded by flaws. It acknowledges obstacles but does not indulge in complaint. The complainer sabotages themselves daily, poisoning their own environment with negativity. But the person who remains solution-oriented, hopeful, and constructive becomes indispensable. People gravitate toward those who remind them that progress is possible. When you become the one who always finds a way, the world begins to find a way for you. Develop the courage to believe in others, not foolishly, but generously. Give encouragement where you see potential. Help people recognize their own strengths. When you become a source of confidence for others, they will return to you with loyalty and support. A pleasing personality is never jealous of another's rise. It celebrates it, contributes to it. Secure people build. Weak people tear down. Your true nature is revealed by your reaction to someone else's success. If you want champions around you, become a champion of others. Remember this truth. People are not drawn to perfect personalities. They are drawn to personalities that make them feel safe, valued, and optimistic. Perfection is intimidating. Humanity is attractive. The pleasing personality is not afraid to show genuine emotion, humility, humor. It listens without judgment. It welcomes conversation. It creates an atmosphere where people feel they belong and where greatness feels possible. Such a personality becomes powerful because people willingly place their trust in what feels real. Gratitude is one of the strongest elements of a pleasing personality. When you show appreciation for efforts, for time, for contributions, you elevate others in their own eyes. Gratitude makes people feel important, and importance is the greatest human desire aside from survival itself. Never let a kindness go unacknowledged. Never miss an opportunity to express thanks. These small acts build invisible bonds stronger than any contract. People remember how you made them feel long after they've forgotten what you said. Self-respect is another essential ingredient. A pleasing personality is not servile. It does not beg for approval. It does not contort itself to win temporary favor. It stands firm in its values, confident yet humble. When you respect yourself, you signal to the world how you expect to be treated. The person who accepts disrespect silently teaches others to continue it. Carry yourself with dignity. Honor your commitments. Speak truth without cruelty. The world admires those who stand tall without stepping on others. Be the person who brings solutions, not stress. The moment people feel comfortable asking for your help, trusting your leadership, and relying on your consistency, you have created influence that cannot be bought. This is how powerful networks form, not through manipulation, but through reliability. When others know you will rise in moments of difficulty, you become a pillar in their lives. That is true significance. Great fortunes have been made not by the cold expert, but by the warm strategist. Some of the richest individuals in history were not the highest educated or the most technically skilled. They were the most trusted. Wealth responds to confidence, collaboration, reputation. A pleasing personality is the seedbed of all three. Riches flow toward individuals who are easy to work with, pleasant to be around, and who make success feel inevitable. The pleasing personality is your invisible income stream. It pays dividends long before and long after the job is done. A positive reputation is the best business card you can ever hand out. It opens doors without knocking. It creates advocates who speak your name in rooms you haven't yet entered. It builds an army of goodwill that works for you around the clock, free of charge. If you master this art, you will never again struggle for recognition because you will have earned admiration. Here is your challenge. Starting today, become intensely conscious of the aura you project. Walk with purpose. Speak with intention. Smile with sincerity. Show genuine interest in others. Replace judgment with curiosity. Replace gossip with encouragement. Replace arrogance with confidence. Replace negativity with enthusiasm. Practice these traits until they become your second nature, and the world will look at you differently. People will feel your frequency before they understand your mission, and once they trust your character, they will support your journey. You must understand, your personality is not fixed. It is chosen, designed, built. If you wish to transform your destiny, begin by transforming the energy you bring into every interaction. You will discover that opportunities multiply when you become someone worth opening opportunities for. Influence increases when you become someone worth following. Wealth flows when you become someone worth investing in. The world has already given you the raw material, your mind, your voice, your presence, your spirit. Now shape them into a personality that invites success. When you refine how you treat others, you refine what life returns to you. Every handshake, every greeting, every smile, every conversation is a brick in the structure of your success. Build wisely. The pleasing personality is the first step toward greatness. No empire rises without it. No legacy survives without it. It is the starting point from which every dream takes flight. And once you have mastered it, the path to wealth, influence, and fulfillment becomes not just possible, but predictable. The third pillar of a pleasing personality, after awareness and action, is reliability. Reliability is the heartbeat of trust. Without it, you are a drifting ship with no anchor. You can have charm, knowledge, or talent, but if people cannot count on you, your value is diminished to a whisper in a storm. Those who rise to enduring heights are those who do what they say they will do every time without fail. There is no shortcut here. The world is starving for men and women of their word. When you build a reputation for reliability, you are given the keys to larger opportunities, more complex challenges, and ultimately the trust that forms the backbone of all genuine influence. Reliability is a habit forged in the furnace of daily choices. It begins in the small things, the promises you make to yourself when no one is watching. If you declare you will rise early, do it. If you say you will finish your work by a certain hour, do it. The smallest kept promise is the building block of character. When you consistently deliver, both to yourself and to others, you cultivate an aura of predictability that makes you invaluable. People will naturally lean on the person who has demonstrated again and again that their word can be trusted. And in business, as in life, trust is currency. Your reliability shapes your influence over others. Consider for a moment how rare it is to meet someone whose yes means yes and whose no means no. These people are sought after, respected, and surrounded by opportunity even when they themselves do not seek it. Your every interaction, every deadline, every handshake or contract signed is an opportunity to prove you are one of them. The more reliable you become, the more your value rises, not just in your own eyes, but in the eyes of everyone who crosses your path. Beyond reliability, cultivate a sense of dignity and composure. The pleasing personality is not swayed by the moods or insults of others. You must train your mind to remain unshaken in the face of criticism, unfairness, or disappointment. Success is not just about achieving results. It is about how you conduct yourself on the journey. When others lose their temper, you remain calm. When others panic, you exude confidence. When others spread rumors or gossip, you speak only of ideas and solutions. This discipline of mind elevates you above the petty and the trivial. People will trust you with their hopes and fears because you have shown you are the master of your emotions, not their victim. Another quality that sets apart those with a pleasing personality is the habit of remembering and using names. A person's name is the sweetest sound they can hear. When you address someone by name, you give them dignity and recognition. You communicate that they matter in a world where so many feel invisible. It is a small act that leaves a great impact. Take the time to remember names, pronounce them correctly, and use them with genuine warmth. This one practice alone will multiply your influence and deepen your connections. Empathy is the next essential ingredient. To possess a pleasing personality, you must understand what others feel. You must sense their struggles, their unspoken dreams, their hidden wounds. The most persuasive people are those who listen to understand, not merely to respond. They ask thoughtful questions. They withhold judgment They show concern not just for the issue at hand, but for the person facing it. Empathy cannot be faked. It must be cultivated. And it can turn the most fleeting conversation into the beginning of a lasting alliance. Let us be clear. A pleasing personality is not about bending over backward for the approval of others. It is not about people-pleasing or sacrificing your values to gain favor. True influence stems from authenticity. When your actions match your words, when your attitude is positive even under pressure, and when your respect for others is sincere, you do not need to chase approval. Approval finds you. This is not manipulation. It is magnetism. The world responds to genuine character with open arms and open doors. The ability to admit fault is another mark of strength. When you are wrong, say so. When you make a mistake, own it. People respect humility far more than they admire perfection. The person who apologizes with sincerity and makes amends builds more credibility than the one who hides behind excuses or blames others. Your willingness to take responsibility is proof of your maturity and growth. Remember, greatness is not about never falling. It is about rising quickly, learning, and never repeating the same error twice. Consistency is the foundation of credibility. People feel safe with those who act predictably, who keep their word, and who demonstrate the same principles regardless of audience or circumstance. The world is filled with chameleons, those who change their tune to fit the moment. But greatness comes to those who are the same in private as in public. This is why self-discipline is so vital. Every time you resist the urge to cut corners or compromise your values, you strengthen your character. Every time you choose honesty over convenience, you are investing in your long-term reputation. Consistency, more than brilliance, earns loyalty and respect. Attitude matters. Do not underestimate the power of your mindset. Optimism attracts. Pessimism repels. When you enter a room with a hopeful spirit, you change the atmosphere. People want to be associated with possibility, not defeat. They are drawn to those who see potential rather than obstacles, who speak of solutions rather than problems. If you want to become indispensable, be the person who keeps hope alive even when things seem bleak. Your attitude will be the light by which others find their way. Appearance is not superficial. It is a symbol. The care you take with your personal grooming, attire, and presentation signals how you value yourself and your work. You do not need expensive clothes, but you must be clean, tidy, and appropriate for your context. Sloppiness suggests carelessness. Pride in your appearance reflects pride in your purpose. If you expect the world to invest in you, first demonstrate you have invested in yourself. You will be treated according to the standard you set. Time management is a critical piece of a pleasing personality. Those who respect the time of others are always welcome back. Be punctual. Prepare in advance. End meetings when you say you will. Deliver your work on or before the deadline. These are small habits, but they send a powerful message. I am dependable, and I value your time. If you consistently honor the time of others, your opportunities will multiply beyond your imagination. Be a connector. Introduce people to one another. Create networks of trust and mutual benefit. The more you give, the more you receive. Generosity is a magnet. Share knowledge, contacts, opportunities without keeping score. People will remember your kindness, and when you least expect it, it will return to you in surprising ways. No one succeeds alone. If you want to build a foundation that lasts, build it on service and selflessness. A pleasing personality is bold, not brash. It is confident, not arrogant. It is humble, not weak. It is the combination of strength and kindness, ambition and empathy, vision and reliability. You must believe that you can shape your character. You must commit to continuous improvement, not because you seek perfection, but because you demand progress. Each day, look for one way to grow, one habit to improve, one person to encourage. The person who evolves is the person who prevails. In the end, remember this: it is not what you achieve that makes you unforgettable, but how you achieved it and how you made others feel along the way. People will forget your titles and awards. They will remember how you treated them when you had nothing to gain. The pleasing personality leaves a legacy of respect, kindness, and trust that outlasts all material success. That, above all, is the true foundation of every lasting success story. Excellence in personality is never accidental. It is the result of deliberate, ongoing cultivation, an act of conscious will repeated until it becomes second nature. At this stage, you must internalize that your greatest asset is your character, and your character is the outward expression of your inner standards. Every trait, every attitude, every response you give is a declaration of who you are and the value you assign to yourself. A pleasing personality is never a mask worn for the world. It is a reflection of the values you have chosen to embrace as the very code of your being. If you want success to follow you like a shadow, you must first become a person whose presence commands respect and inspires trust without uttering a word. This truth is most evident in your daily interactions. Never underestimate the cumulative power of small gestures. The handshake you give, the eye contact you maintain, the sincerity behind your smile. These are not trivial habits, but powerful transmitters of your energy and intent. People sense authenticity immediately. You do not need to announce your integrity. Your demeanor speaks louder than words ever could. When your actions and your words are aligned, others instinctively respond with openness and respect. They may not always be able to explain why they trust you, but trust you they will. To reach the summit of influence, you must also develop an unshakable patience. The world is filled with those who rush, demand, and expect instant gratification. But you, if you would stand apart, must understand the law of gestation. Just as seeds require time to become towering oaks, so does your reputation require seasons to mature. Each time you choose to be patient with yourself and others, resisting the urge to force outcomes or control others, you reinforce your character. Those who remain calm under pressure are sought out as leaders, confidants, and decision makers. Their presence soothes, their voice reassures, and their patience becomes a beacon for those lost in the storms of urgency. In business and life, those with a pleasing personality are always sought out in times of trouble. They become the calm in the center of chaos. When tempers flare, they listen. When blame is passed, they seek understanding. When others hide from responsibility, they step forward and claim it. Such people never become obsolete, for they possess the rarest skill, the ability to unite others, resolve conflict, and build bridges where others see only barriers. The pleasing personality does not avoid problems, but welcomes them as opportunities to reveal the depth of their character. This quality is especially apparent in the art of encouragement. If you wish to become indispensable, make it your mission to leave everyone you meet feeling better about themselves and their possibilities. Offer genuine praise. Find the good in others and speak it aloud. The world is brimming with criticism, but starved for encouragement. When you recognize and affirm the strengths in others, you create allies. You lift them above their doubts and fears, and in return, they will move mountains to support your vision. The pleasing personality multiplies its influence by helping others see their own value. Yet, let us be clear. Encouragement does not mean blind flattery or empty compliments. It means seeing people as they are and as they could be, and speaking to both realities. Do not ignore weakness, but address it with compassion and candor. True encouragement is honest. It is a promise that you see greatness in another, even when they do not see it in themselves. By holding others to a higher standard, you invite them to rise, and in doing so, you elevate yourself as well. Another essential trait is adaptability. The world will not mold itself to your preferences. You must learn to bend without breaking, to adjust without losing your core. The pleasing personality is not rigid or dogmatic, but flexible and resilient. Whether you are faced with new circumstances, difficult personalities, or unforeseen setbacks, your ability to adapt will determine the length and breadth of your influence. The adaptable person is welcomed everywhere, for they make others feel comfortable and understood. Their willingness to adjust demonstrates humility and wisdom, two traits the world cannot resist. Never allow yourself to become the center of every story. There is a power in making others feel important. Ask questions, invite opinions, listen more than you speak. People remember those who make them feel seen and heard. They will forgive your mistakes if you give them respect. They will overlook your shortcomings if you show them consideration. The more you focus on the needs, hopes, and dreams of others, the more they will devote themselves to supporting yours. Your ability to listen is perhaps the most underappreciated weapon in your arsenal. Listening is not the absence of talking, but the act of receiving, without agenda or judgment, the thoughts and feelings of another. When you listen, you become a safe harbor. In a world that values shouting and self-promotion, those who truly listen are rare and therefore highly prized. The best leaders, salespeople, negotiators, and creators are, above all, world-class listeners. They know that most problems can be solved simply by allowing people to be heard. But a pleasing personality is not weak. It does not allow itself to be manipulated, used, or controlled by the whims of others. Strength and self-respect are always present, even in the most generous and patient souls. If you wish to become truly magnetic, you must know your own limits and enforce them with calm authority. You cannot give endlessly from an empty well. Learn to say no with grace, to set boundaries with firmness, and to protect your own peace so that you may serve others from abundance, not exhaustion. One cannot overlook the power of humor. Do not take yourself too seriously. The ability to laugh, especially at yourself, reveals your humility and humanity. It breaks down walls, diffuses tension, and creates bonds of friendship. The pleasing personality uses humor not as a weapon, but as a bridge. Remember, laughter opens hearts where logic often fails. A well-timed joke or a gentle smile can create goodwill that years of negotiation cannot. Generosity is another hallmark of greatness. Give more than you take. Whether it is your time, your expertise, or your resources, let your default be generosity. The universe rewards those who create surplus for others. Do not be concerned with keeping score. The truly successful never count their contributions. They count their blessings. Every act of service, every sacrifice made with a willing heart is an investment in relationships that will pay dividends beyond your imagination. To truly embody a pleasing personality, you must become a master of gratitude. Success is not a matter of luck or mere talent, but of recognizing and appreciating the gifts you already possess. Express gratitude for opportunities, for challenges, for the people who support and challenge you. Gratitude is not passive. It is a force that multiplies your happiness and sharpens your vision. The more you acknowledge your blessings, the more blessings appear. The pleasing personality is never bitter or envious, but overflows with appreciation, and this in turn attracts even greater abundance. Always act with purpose. Do not drift through your days reacting to the world as it happens. A pleasing personality is proactive. It knows what it wants, why it wants it, and how to pursue it without apology or hesitation. When you are clear about your mission, every encounter becomes meaningful. You will move through the world with conviction, clarity, and resolve. People sense purpose and are drawn to it as moths to flame. You cannot fake this quality. It must be rooted in deep self-knowledge and relentless self-mastery. Develop the habit of anticipation. The most effective people are always thinking one step ahead, preparing for what is likely to happen and adjusting before the crisis occurs. Anticipate needs, both your own and those of others. Be the person who solves problems before they arise, who sees possibilities others miss. This foresight is a mark of wisdom and a powerful element of a pleasing personality. People will follow you not only because they like you, but because you make their lives easier and better. Above all, remember that your personality is not a fixed entity. It is a living, breathing force that you shape and refine every day. The moment you believe you have arrived, you have already begun to decline. Complacency is the enemy of greatness. Never stop learning. Never stop stretching. Each day offers a new chance to become a little kinder, a little wiser, a little stronger. The world will reward you not for who you were yesterday, but for who you are becoming today. This journey of self-cultivation is not always easy, nor is it always recognized. There will be days when your patience runs thin, when your kindness is not returned, when your efforts seem to go unnoticed. Persist regardless. You are not living for applause, but for impact. The seeds you plant with every positive action will grow in ways you cannot yet imagine. Often, the greatest rewards come when you least expect them. Sometimes years after the habit was first formed, the word first spoken, the promise first kept. Thus, as you move forward, let each interaction be an opportunity to build rather than break, to inspire rather than discourage, to unite rather than divide. When you make it your mission to be the best person you can be in every circumstance, you transform not only your life but the world around you. And in the end, it is this unseen, immeasurable influence, the sum of thousands of small, noble choices, that stands as the true foundation of every enduring success story. If you desire to build a life that endures and attracts genuine opportunity, recognize this. Your personality is not just the outer shell others perceive. It is the silent architect of your reputation, the very force that determines whether doors swing open or stay forever shut. The greatest mistake you can make is to believe that success is simply about talent, money, or intellect. These qualities may get you in the room, but it is your personality, your ability to inspire, trust, foster cooperation, and create harmony that keeps you there and propels you forward. Never underestimate the value of the intangible. Your manner, your voice, your energy, the unspoken aura you project, these are the magnets that draw success to your side. Begin each day with a conscious effort to project the best version of yourself. This is not an act, but a discipline. Decide, before you speak to anyone, that you will greet the world as a creator, not a critic, as a giver, not a taker. The foundation of a pleasing personality is intention. You do not become likable or respected by chance, but by repeated daily acts of self-mastery. When you commit to showing up as your highest self, You set a tone that influences every relationship, every negotiation, and every opportunity that crosses your path. Your attitude is the most powerful tool you possess. It is not simply a reflection of your mood, but the driving force that shapes the reality you experience. If you walk into a room with hope, curiosity, and a readiness to serve, you become a beacon in a world crowded with doubt and cynicism. Others gravitate to you, not because of what you have, but because of who you are. The right attitude cannot be faked. If you attempt to mimic positivity without believing in it, your insincerity will betray you. Instead, cultivate a genuine desire to see the best in people and situations. This habit, repeated daily, will eventually become the default mode of your personality. Cultivating a pleasing personality also requires you to master your emotions. Anger, jealousy, resentment, these are poisons that eat away at the roots of your influence. No one follows a leader who cannot control themselves. Discipline your reactions. When you are tempted to lash out, pause. When you feel misunderstood, seek clarity before you retaliate. The most powerful people in any room are rarely the loudest. They are those who listen before they speak, who measure their words, who refuse to let circumstance dictate their state of mind. Strength is quiet, not boastful. When you become the master of your emotions, others will sense your stability and look to you for guidance. One of the most underestimated assets in building a pleasing personality is consistency. Anyone can be charming for an hour. It takes true strength of character to remain dependable over weeks, months, and years. The people who attract lasting relationships, be they personal, professional, or romantic, are those whose mood does not shift with the weather. When others know they can count on you to be fair, honest, and even-tempered regardless of external events, you become a pillar in their world. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is invaluable. Build your reputation not on fleeting moments, but on the solid rock of reliability. Success requires you to adopt an attitude of humility. The ego is the enemy of growth. You cannot learn from others if you believe you already know everything. The world is full of individuals desperate to be seen as the smartest in the room, but the truly wise are those who remain teachable. Admit when you are wrong. Apologize without reservation. Ask questions and listen to the answers. Humility is not weakness. It is the soil in which wisdom grows. When you practice humility, you attract mentors, allies, and opportunities that the arrogant will never see. Another vital component is the ability to inspire others to take action. If you can help others believe in themselves, you multiply your power 1,000-fold. Become the person who instills courage in the timid, hope in the discouraged, and confidence in the doubter. Success is not a solitary journey. Even the greatest achievements are the result of collaboration, support, and mutual encouragement. When you inspire others, you create a legacy that extends far beyond your individual accomplishments. People will follow those who make them feel capable and valuable, who awaken possibilities they had forgotten or never dared to imagine. Refuse to gossip, complain, or indulge in negativity. The world already has too many critics. Make it your practice to avoid conversations that tear others down. Speak well of those who are not present. When you hear malicious talk, change the subject or leave the room. The pleasing personality is a force for uplift, not division. Your reputation is built not only on the things you say, but also on the things you refuse to say. Words are seeds. Plant only those you wish to see flourish in your world. Remember, generosity is the twin of influence. When you give freely, without keeping score, you build a reservoir of goodwill that will serve you for years to come. Offer help without expectation. Share your knowledge, your connections, your time. The person who makes others' lives easier and brighter will never lack for opportunity or support. Generosity is not about wealth, but about attitude. Even a smile, a kind word, or a moment of your attention can be a priceless gift to someone else. Never let fear of rejection control you. The road to success is paved with the stones of misunderstanding, indifference, and even mockery. Do not allow the opinions of others to define your identity or your worth. A pleasing personality is not one that panders to every demand, but one that stands firm in its values. Be courageous enough to be yourself, even if it means being misunderstood. Authenticity is magnetic. People may not always agree with you, but they will respect your courage. Be mindful of your appearance and manner. You do not need to wear expensive clothes or follow every trend, but you should strive for neatness, cleanliness, and an attention to detail. The way you carry yourself sends a message before you ever speak a word. Stand tall, walk with purpose, and look people in the eye. These simple habits communicate confidence and respect both for yourself and for others. Make it a point to remember names, faces, and details. People crave to be seen as individuals, not as mere cogs in a machine. When you greet someone by name, recall their interests, or ask about their well-being, you demonstrate genuine care. This attention to detail is the currency of influence. It sets you apart in a world where most people are too self-absorbed to notice anything beyond themselves. Build your network with intention. Seek out individuals who elevate you, challenge you, and encourage your growth. Your environment shapes your destiny. If you surround yourself with negative, critical, or stagnant people, you will inevitably absorb their attitudes. Choose to associate with those who inspire, motivate, and uplift. Be proactive in nurturing these relationships. Offer value first, without expectation, and the rewards will come in time. Develop the habit of follow-through. If you promise something, deliver it. If you cannot deliver, communicate honestly and promptly. Reliability is the bridge between intention and reality. The world is full of good intentions, but it is actions that build trust. Each time you keep your word, you reinforce your credibility. Each broken promise chips away at the foundation of your influence. Be the person whose commitments are as solid as stone. Finally, cultivate resilience. Life will test you with setbacks, disappointments, and failures. The pleasing personality does not crumble under pressure, but adapts, learns, and persists. Every defeat contains a lesson. Every setback is an invitation to grow stronger, wiser, and more determined. The people who achieve the most are not those who never stumble, but those who rise each time they fall. Train yourself to see adversity as a teacher, not a curse. As you travel the path toward your own success story, remember that your journey is not just about personal gain. It is about the legacy you leave, the lives you touch, and the example you set. Every day, in every interaction, you are writing the story of your life, one choice, one word, one gesture at a time. Make each page worth reading. The world is watching, and the world will follow the one who stands out not for what they have, but for who they are. When your personality is a beacon of positivity, integrity, and purpose, you become truly unstoppable. This is the foundation of every enduring success story, and it is yours for the building. If you are searching for the secret that distinguishes those who merely exist from those who live brilliantly, you must understand this. Success is not reserved for the loud, the privileged, or the ruthless. It is carved out by those who intentionally design their personalities as instruments of influence, trust, and goodwill. The world bends for those who have mastered themselves. If you want results that few enjoy, you must do what few are willing to do. Refine your character every day until it gleams with purpose, clarity, and irresistible magnetism. Begin by acknowledging that your personality is not a fixed set of traits, but a living system you shape with every choice. The world offers no reward to the person who claims, "That's just who I am." Progress begins the moment you accept total responsibility for how you are received, how you communicate, how you make others feel. If you find that people avoid you, distrust you, or withhold opportunities, look first in the mirror. What energy do you radiate? Do your words lift or drain? Do your actions unify or divide? The most successful are those who act as the architect of their own personality, not the passive inheritor of childhood habits or environmental influence. To develop a personality that paves the way for every ambition, invest in self-awareness. Observe yourself as others see you. Listen to your own words. Watch your body language. Measure the effect of your presence on the room. If you leave people tense, uncertain, or overlooked, correct your approach at once. Self-delusion is the enemy of growth. The world respects those who possess the courage to self-audit and the humility to improve. Ask for feedback from people you trust, not to seek praise, but to find your blind spots and root them out without mercy. Every interaction is an audition for greater responsibility. Treat each encounter, no matter how small, as an opportunity to practice excellence in conduct. The person who greets the janitor with the same warmth as the CEO is the one who will find doors opening in every direction. Manners, gratitude, patience, these cost nothing, but their absence will bankrupt your chances in life. Carry yourself with a dignity that does not depend on the opinions of others. Real power is quiet. It does not clamor for attention. Your true authority will announce itself in the way you treat those who can do nothing for you. A pleasing personality is not about flattery, nor does it require you to suppress your opinions or bend to every wind. It demands authenticity, the courage to stand for what you believe, and the tact to disagree without creating enemies. Speak your truth clearly, but never as a weapon. Listen first, weigh every word, and seek to understand before you insist on being understood. Disagreement is not war. Conflict need not breed resentment. The mature mind knows that relationships are more valuable than momentary victory. Guard your reputation as your most precious asset. It is not forged overnight, nor is it lost in a single era, but neglect will ruin it and apathy will erase it. Your reputation is the echo of your personality in the minds of others, and it travels faster and farther than you imagine. Be known for your fairness, your willingness to help, your reliability under pressure. Let your word be a contract, your handshake a bond. In a world that grows more cynical by the day, integrity is the rarest and most profitable currency. You cannot develop a pleasing personality in isolation. Your greatness is measured by your contribution to others. Seek out opportunities to serve, to lighten burdens, to become indispensable in every circle you enter. Ask yourself, how can I add value? Instead of, what can I get? Every act of service increases your capital in the marketplace of life. The habit of giving, time, attention, encouragement, builds a network of loyalty that money cannot buy. The richest lives are not those that accumulate, but those that circulate benefit freely. Resist the temptation to become defensive or combative when challenged. The person who bristles at criticism reveals insecurity and invites opposition. Instead, cultivate the art of graceful acceptance Analyze every critique for the seed of truth it may contain. The mind that can separate feedback from ego grows faster, recovers sooner, and soars higher. Be quick to admit error, fast to adapt, and relentless in the pursuit of betterment. People are drawn to those who are honest about their flaws but determined to overcome them. Maintain an aura of optimism even in adversity. Life will hand you setbacks, disappointments, and the sting of failure. The test of your personality is not how you behave when things go well, but how you persist when all seems lost. Carry a vision of your ultimate goal in your mind at all times. When circumstances conspire to darken your path, let your belief shine brighter. The person who remains hopeful in the storm, who can find opportunity in difficulty and meaning in defeat, becomes an anchor for others. Your resilience will be noticed, admired, and rewarded. There is a magnetic force in enthusiasm. Genuine excitement about your work, your mission, and the future has an infectious quality. People want to be led by those who believe in what they do, who radiate conviction and passion. If you are not excited about your own journey, why should anyone follow you? Cultivate an inner flame that cannot be extinguished by setbacks or the indifference of others. Enthusiasm will carry you further than skill, pedigree, or even intelligence. Your personality should also be marked by adaptability. The world does not stand still. Situations change, people move, opportunities vanish as quickly as they appear. The rigid, inflexible person finds themselves stranded in the past. Remain open to new ideas, curious about differing perspectives, and willing to adjust your approach when the moment calls for it. The ability to evolve, to grow with change instead of fighting against it, ensures that you remain relevant and valuable no matter what the future brings. As you become the master of your personality, you will discover a peculiar paradox. The more you focus on serving others, the more power and influence you amass. The self-centered are ignored, while the selfless are sought after. The world rewards those who solve problems, who bring comfort, who uplift and unify. Your task is to become a person others want to have around, not because you are agreeable in all things, but because your presence multiplies the possibilities for everyone you touch. Be vigilant against the enemies of a pleasing personality: bitterness, arrogance, envy, and the habit of taking offense. These weeds, if allowed to take root, will choke your progress and sour your spirit. Practice forgiveness, release grudges, and keep your attention fixed on growth. The person who harbors resentment is held back by invisible chains. Free yourself, and you will find your influence expanding naturally. Your appearance, your words, your energy, all must work in harmony. Do not neglect your health or your habits. Physical vitality, mental clarity, and emotional stability are the foundation upon which your personality is built. Rise early, move your body, feed your mind with noble thoughts. Make rest a priority, for fatigue breeds irritability and weakness. The most impressive personality cannot compensate for a neglected body or a restless mind. Every facet of your being must be tuned to the highest frequency you can attain. In the end, remember that the purpose of cultivating a pleasing personality is not simply to win friends or gather fortune, but to create a life of meaning and impact. The greatest satisfaction comes from knowing you have left the world better than you found it, that you have inspired others to rise, and that your story has become a beacon for those who follow. Success built upon this foundation is not only possible, it is inevitable. Do not wait for permission to begin this work. Start today. With every interaction, every thought, every choice, you are building the edifice of your future. Be intentional. Be vigilant. Be relentless. The world does not owe you recognition or reward, but it cannot deny the person who is truly indispensable. When your personality commands respect, evokes trust, and brings out the best in others, you have achieved a victory more lasting than wealth, more profound than fame. So, step forward now. Resolve to leave behind the habits of mediocrity and embrace the discipline of self-mastery. Refine your personality with the same energy you would invest in your craft or your career. Become the person who walks into a room and elevates the atmosphere. Let your legacy be one of influence, not just accomplishment. For in the end, every success story begins and ends with the power of a pleasing personality. Shape yours deliberately and let it become the unshakable foundation upon which your greatest dreams are built.